Can you hear me okay? Good deal. So good morning. My name is Rodney, and I called Pastor Jesse maybe a month ago and said, hey, I think about giving my testimony, and he did not say no. And so here I am. But before I go into what God has been doing in my life, I wanted to say thank you. I've been gone a while, as Pastor Jesse had said, and that'll be part of my testimony today. But some of you have been including me in your prayers and thoughts. I've received cards, letters, notes, gifts in the mail. Some I don't even know where they came from, and Facebook messages. And I just can't thank you enough for your prayers and encouragement, because your prayers, there's power in prayer. And I honestly, I don't know where I would be today if it wasn't for God and your prayers in this. So just thank you. So now, if you're wondering, why am I saying thank you? I'll go there now. So normally I'm running 100 miles an hour. I'm got a full-time job, counseling folks, side jobs, family, church, volunteering, and then to get away from it all, my folks farm. And so every couple of weekends, I'm out there on the farm chasing cows or something. And so I'm busy, always busy. Or I should say, I was always busy. Never a dull moment. And I always had this thought in my mind is, I've got this. I'm in control. And come to find out that's not true, because that all ended October of 2019. Not only was I always busy, but I hardly ever got sick. And so I'm always on the run. And in October of that year, I got sick. Sore throat, throat was swelling. It was not fun. And no matter what I tried, it just never got better. So I thought, well, I'll go to the doctor. Don't like to go there. And so I remember it was a Sunday afternoon, went to Stack here on Ohio Street, went in, said, Doc, this is what's going on. He looked at it, and he's like, oh, Rodney, your throat's not too pretty, or something to that effect, more medical, I'm sure. And he gave me some meds, and he said, in 2 weeks, you should be as good as new. So 2 weeks came, 2 weeks gone. I might have been a wee bit better, but I wasn't. So I went to my regular doctor, and he's like, well, those meds should have done the trick. And so let's run some tests. So long story short, a couple of doctors later, I'm at Tammy Walker Cancer Center, and the doc is saying, you know what, Rodney, you've got some form of leukemia. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Now, back then, if you asked me what that is, I would say I've heard of it. Couldn't tell you about it. I could now. And he says, he was telling me, oh, let's send this stuff up to KU Medical Center, Kansas City. They do a lot of this stuff. I said, great. He's talking about treatments, and then he's like, oh, by the way, Rodney, you're not going to work for a year. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, a whole year. How can I do? I just couldn't fathom that. And so, what am I going to do about my job? I've got clients I'm working with. I can't just drop everything. And I was still feeling pretty good, other than this swollen throat. And so I thought, I can do this. I'm going to horse through it. I'll be back in 3 months, no problem. So keep that 3 months in mind. That's in October. First part of November, I am checked in at KU Medical Center in Kansas City, and I'm starting chemotherapy. So my hopes and prayers at that point that the doctor would walk in and say, Rodney, we're sorry we made a mistake, strep throat or something, go home. That didn't happen. And so I did most of this inpatient. So I'm living at the hospital. And about the same time, guess what? COVID started. So at the very beginning, I'm having my daughters visit me, family coming in. We're playing cards, games. I'm building gingerbread houses with my daughter for the holidays, and then to go to where there is no one coming in your room because I can't get in the hospital. And so it wasn't hard to start thinking to myself, boy, I'm alone by myself. And I was so wrapped up into the tyranny of the moment, me, I. And I stopped and I realized one day that I'm not alone. God is with me. He's been there all along. I had lost sight of that. And he was with me then, and he's here today and always will be. And talk about calmness and peace. I'm still worrying a little bit, but I'm feeling a lot better. And I remember a nurse coming in when I was starting all this, and she says, now, Rodney, you're going through this chemotherapy, and I just started. And she's like, Rodney, it's going to be pretty rough. You're going to make it, though, so don't give up. But you're going to have some valleys that you're going to go through, and you're going to make it. And, of course, I got through it, thank God. And, I haven't told anyone except the 3 or 4 people who've read my testimony ahead of time. There was many a time the doctor would come in and say, okay, we need to start another round of chemo, or we got another test we're going to do, or another biopsy. And, on the outside, I'm like, well, let's get it done. Let's do it, But I tell you what, on the inside, I was scared to death. And there was times I was like, Lord, I need a hug about right now, or they're getting ready to do something ornery, so please hold my hand or at least hold my shoulder. And he never let go. He was always there. And it's funny, it's a God thing how things happen. I'm sitting in this bed, I'm worried to death, and there was a chaplain, or a couple of chaplains that would stop in every so often. And one of them suggested one time, why don't you think about reading the book of James in the New Testament? And if you've not read this, it's like 2 pages. It's 5 chapters. And so I got to reading that, and there was 2 things that really stuck out that's like, that's me. And one is, planning ahead for next year, tomorrow, and, it's saying you don't even know what's going to happen tomorrow. So I'm thinking, why am I worrying about stuff 6 months from now? Because I can't control that. That I'm in control thing is out the window a long time ago. And then it also talked about patience. And I realized I need to be more patient. And giving that worry, that burden to God was so freeing. Now remember, did you remember I thought I'd horse through it and be out in 3 months? Well, that didn't happen either. It's about 1.5 years it took to get through all that. I've only really been back to Salina since maybe a couple months ago. I mean, I've been kind of coming back, but very rarely. So I'm kind of more full-time. 3 rounds of chemo, stem cell transplant. I'm in remission. Thank God, because I know there's a lot of people that don't make that. Yes, thank you. And matter of fact, my 1-year anniversary of my stem cell transplant is on Friday the 13th. Yeehaw. And so we'll get through that. So, just to wrap it up, I've been given a second chance. It does give you a whole new look on life, on what's really important and what's not. Do I still catch myself worrying? Oh my gosh, I do. But then I remember God's there, and I can give that to him. And also remember there's so many things to be thankful for every day, whether it's a bad day or not, that, hey, I can walk again. I walked up 2 steps. I couldn't have done that 4 months ago without people helping me. And so there's just so many things to be thankful for. So thank you.